Hello, United Kingdom lovers and Scotland fans. Welcome to my channel. My name is Jana and this is Curves on the Road. In today's video, I'll give you 10 tips about Scotland so you're ready for your trip. Number 1, the favorite topic of the whole Great Britain, weather. There are so many jokes about British weather and there's some base for it because you can experience all 4 seasons in one single day. So be ready for anything when you're traveling to Scotland. Mostly rain. Be ready for rain. It might not be constant pouring rain, but I have never been to Scotland without experiencing at least some light annoying drizzle. So make sure you have your brolly. I love the word brolly for umbrella. Or you might need some waterproof jacket, or as the locals do, just don't mind it. It can be actually even pretty hot in Scotland in summer, so pack even some light clothing if you're going in July or August. Number 2, Scottish food. You have probably already heard about the nasty stuff or food that when you say the ingredients, you're like, I would never eat that. But honestly, if somebody told you how sausage is made, it's basically the same principle. I'm talking about haggis and black pudding. Yeah, one is made from sheep intestines and yeah, the other one has blood in it, but it's a local delicacy. If you're vegetarian, I would probably tell you to skip these, but if you're not and you like trying new cuisines, I wouldn't be scared of it. I'm not a big fan of haggis, but it has nothing to do with what it is. It's more they are putting very strong spices in it. They are very aromatic and I'm not a big fan of this combination of herbs. Actually, in Czech, we have something similar to black pudding, so I was neither appalled nor surprised by that. It's not a go-to for me, definitely not in summer, but yeah, it's not as bad as it looks. But to be fair, I'm not sure if it's specifically Scottish. I would say it's more like British, but they have the best dessert on the whole planet. I kid you not. Every time I go to the UK, I'm looking for places where they have sticky toffee pudding. It's an easy thing to do, and I'm so surprised that nobody replicates it. Anywhere else in the world, it's hard to find this delicacy. If you get there, go get yourself the proper sticky toffee pudding. The good one has a soft sponge that is covered and swimming in a perfect caramel. And of course, it has to be topped up with ice cream because the rest is hot and the cold ice cream on top. Oh my God, so yummy. Number 3, people in Scotland. Scots are very specific and maybe you need to find the way to them, but they are definitely super friendly and if you share a pint of beer with them, they'll be your friends forever. The language though. Scottish English is probably the hardest accent for a non-native English speaker to understand. It took me a long time and a couple of those romantic historical novels to start understanding the accent and the vocabulary that is a bit different. So don't be shocked if you excel in English and all of a sudden you don't understand anything. It's not you, it's actually the language. Keep in mind that there is a slight prohibition in the UK. I don't want to scare you drinkers. Of course, it's a country of beer. What am I talking about, right? But after a certain hour, you cannot buy alcohol outside of pubs. And even the pubs close earlier than us from the Central Europe are used to. So plan your evening accordingly. to make sure you have enough time to enjoy your Guinness or some local craft beer. Number 4, driving. They drive on the left side. Most of the Europe, US, South America, everybody drives on the right side. So it is a little bit confusing, I won't lie to you. We actually rented a car because we wanted to go way up to the highlands and wanted to be free to go whenever we want. And I was really worried that it's going to be impossible to drive on the other side because the brain will still try to drag you on the right side, literally. But yeah, it was a little mind-boggling, especially when you use stick. We didn't. We booked an automatic car, and I think it was the best decision ever because when I was sitting in the car, I was still trying to change the reverse and drive with my right hand, and actually the shifting gear was on the other side. So I think that cuts a big chunk of your problem if you have an automatic car. Also, the rear mirrors are opposite. Roundabouts are funny. You have to make sure that you give a right from the right, but you go to the left. Watch some videos from England where you see people driving on the other side. Take some Ubers maybe before to get the feeling that this is correct and you should be fine. Of course, there are lots of drivers, especially if you're visiting bigger cities. There will be traffic, of course. They have those old cities where the roads are very narrow, so if you have a bigger car, you might have hard time fitting in. But overall, would I tell you, oh, by all means, don't drive in the UK? Actually, no. If you're a good driver and you're confident in your skills, you should be fine. For me, the biggest problem was I couldn't tell the distance from the end of the car to the curb, simply because I'm used to checking the other side and trying to line myself with the other side. So that was the biggest problem for me. Number 5, money. They are using the British pound, so you don't need different currency when you're going up to Scotland from England. It is still the same money, same coins, same bills. Now, unfortunately, after the death of Queen Elizabeth, the money will be changing. So if you're planning your trip in 2-3 years, just follow the news and updates as how fast the money will be changed to the King Charles face on it. I actually had some expired coins. I've been going to the UK my whole life, so I always have those little pound coins, and I figured out that certain type is already long gone. If you're like me, you've been to UK, then for some time you haven't, just check the validity of the money. Number 6, make reservations. We wanted to see the Edinburgh Castle. We wanted to eat in a special place that was recommended to us. We wanted to see the Loch Ness, take the boat ride, see the castle, and we got there completely stunned. Okay, we were there in August, so it was busier than usual, but still, we went to Inverness, that is quite a small city, and still when we wanted a dinner, we had to go to 5 restaurants before we actually found one that could accept us without a previous booking. For the Edinburgh Castle, we had to book for another day because that day it was already completely sold out. So keep that in mind if there are things that you would die if you didn't get to do in Scotland, book them in advance. Number 7, I already mentioned August to be a bad month to go if you're not going for the Edinburgh Festival. The whole August is an ongoing theater, music, arts, cinema festival at Edinburgh, and the city gets accordingly full. So expensive accommodation. I actually had to book student dorms to find something reasonably priced. You can see my video about that on my channel. And again, reservation everywhere, loads of people, crowded. So if you want to avoid that, don't come in August. However, the weather is best in the summer holidays, July, August. So you have to make a compromise. Either you stand the people and you might have lovely weather, or you prefer the typical Scottish weather with some light rain, and then avoid August. Number 8, Scottish traditions. Let's start with the outfits. If you expect people being dressed like me and men wearing the kilts, forget it. Only people who attend special occasions or people who want to make money off of tourists wear the traditional outfit and play bagpipes. Normal Scots don't do that. The normal attire is much more recommended. When I was dressed like this, obviously I was standing out. So be mindful that it's not like, for example, in Germany when everybody wears the lederhosen. Here, if gentlemen, you preferred to wear a skirt and have a light breeze for the first time, you will be the one people will be looking at. I've mentioned bagpipes. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the music. However, you'll be encountering it at lots of places around the bigger cities where the tourists go. So be prepared. If you want to take pictures or video of the players, keep in mind it's basically their job. So tip them if you can. And, enjoy the music if you like it. Number 9, history. If you love history of Europe, definitely you will love Scotland. If you're a fan of castles that are still actively being used by royalty, or just ruins where there are only the walls as a reminder of super old buildings, Scotland is your place. You will be in your dream. There's so much to see. Of course, to be said, lots of the castles look similar. They have similar design, similar vibe, but still, I don't know anybody who would go to Scotland and avoids even at least seeing a nice castle in the background. But when you say Scotland, you usually think of Loch Ness, right? The monster, the lake. And yeah, they made a business out of it. I'll have a separate video talking specifically what we did in the Loch Ness and what I would probably recommend to do extra. But generally, count that there will be lots of people, especially in the summer month. But for me, it was one of the best parts of Scotland that I've seen. Number 10, should you go? Are you the person saying, I don't know what I would actually do in Scotland? If you don't like history, castles, specific culture, trying new things, then why do travel at all, right? But Scotland has so much to offer. If you're not much a city person, there are hikes you can do up to Ben Nevis. The Highlands offer views. You can just spend the time hiking, not seeing person, only sheep and cows. By the way, they have the cutest long-haired Scottish coos. I've spent like hours just watching and playing with the cows. It's so cool. And you can avoid people completely. Or if you're a city person, there is Edinburgh, Glasgow, Inverness. So much to see, so much to do. So I highly recommend giving it a chance. And if you want to plan your holiday somewhere in the UK, don't forget to visit Scotland. Of course, the holiday will not be the cheapest. The accommodation is pricey. British pound, even though it fell a lot in the recent years, it's still a very strong currency. So if you're coming from the East like me, you might be a little bit shocked about the budget that you'll have to pay for your trip. So that's it. That's the whole video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, why don't you give me a Scottish thumb up? And you can subscribe to my channel. I upload every Sunday. Thank you very much for watching. Have an amazing rest of your day and bye!